going on, everybody? It is Alan from Breaking and Entering, and today we are sitting down with Dubb Saq. Thank you so much for joining me. We've been overdue for this for a long time. You are probably one of the most prolific artists in Milwaukee when it comes to putting out tons and tons and tons of material. So thank you for joining me here today, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm happy to hear from you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about how you got started, because you're somebody that we've covered on Breaking and Entering for a very long time. And I feel like once I first learned of you, it was like song after song after song after project after, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you just put out a ton of stuff. So, but how did it all start for you?
You guys actually first wrote up on me. I believe I was 15.
Okay.
So we're approaching about a decade now.
For sure. Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, you would have been the early days of the website too, for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
So, how did it all kind of come together for you? When did you start? Were you a kid just making stuff in his computer in his room, or how did it all go down?
Well, so my dad used to make music and be a part of several rap groups in the city growing up. So I kind of always heard local music and was like aware of like shows and everything like that kind of. But as far as like my music career starting, it started just smoking with a friend. He rapped, and we were with some girls, and I was like trying to impress them kind of, and I freestyled during his freestyle, and everybody liked it, and I was kind of like shocked because I'm kind of like a quiet, shy kid, and
Hmm.
my dad took me to the band center, and I made my first song, and then
Okay.
within maybe 6 months of beginning to write music and start recording, I had a home studio, and all through high school, pretty much when you guys discovered me and stuff, I was just recording at home a lot and just fell in love with it.
For sure. Yeah. When you made that first song, is that like kind of was the spark of like, oh, I might have something here? Like,
Honestly, yeah, but no, I think it took me a lot of just throwing things at the wall before it really like attached itself to me.
for sure.
I definitely had a lot of like breaks when I first started. Like I would make music and then not make music, or.
Yeah, totally. Do you think being around your dad, like, were you ever in on his sessions when he was making music, or anything like that? Like, did you get to be in the studio before it was even to that point of like getting to make anything or rap?
I wasn't allowed in the studio, but I'd get in the studio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, my dad had a studio set up right across the hall from my room in a couple of the houses we lived in growing up. So I definitely like just remember like peeking in there and just being like, because I wasn't allowed in there, so I think it was like cooler. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Oh, totally. Because you were in dad's room.
Yeah,
You
yeah. I'm,
know.
I'm like peeking through the door like, oh.
Yeah, for sure. Once you started making music, though, was he kind of like, did he help, like, in the sense of guiding you along to, like, okay, here's how you could record,
Oh
here's a
yeah.
little bit about, like, mastering or mixing or anything like that?
My first couple of songs, he wholeheartedly, bro. He probably helped write. Like he helped me kind of just form it,
Hmm.
and actually, my first recorded single was over one of his rap groups like throwaways they had. It was like there was a hook already on it, and I just learned to work around the hook kind of.
For sure. Let's talk about the amount of music that you make now, because, having a home studio set up, do you ever have, like, do you take breaks now, or is it kind of like, do you just try to get in the gym in the sense of like make as much music as you can every day?
Currently right now I'm kind of recording wherever I end up. I got a studio I frequent out in Wausau. My
Mhm.
friend Sub Music Boss, he opened up PCH Studios out there, so I be out in Wausau recording. Or honestly, the having the home studio or not having the home studio, I don't think it impacted my consistency.
Hmm.
So I think I seeked it when I needed it, type of
For
thing.
sure. Yeah. And we should talk too. You just put out a project with Sub Music Boss too.
Yep.
How did that kind of come about? Just being in the studio together and making a lot of stuff, or were you like set out like, oh, we should do a project together?
We've had this cover art for we've had the concept for maybe like 2 years. Like we've
Okay.
we've know that like we've wanted to form a project. we probably got enough music for 5 albums. But like,
Wow.
we know that we wanted to do dub music, and we one day we were just like, all right, let's put the brakes on making new stuff. We got a lot in the vault. We need to get out. We need to start putting this out, develop our rollout. You know what I mean? And it's kind of how that came. We got the deluxe ready and the number 2 ready, pretty much. So we got me and Sub. We got a lot of work. A lot of work.
That's great. That's crazy too. Like, are you a long-term thinker when it comes to putting this stuff together? Like you said, like that's, a few years out. But are you somebody that thinks of a concept first and then makes the music for it, or do you kind of start throwing darts at the wall and things start to form together into what could be like a cohesive project?
I'd say the past like 3 or 4 years, the albums have kind of I've went into album mode like mentally. Like when
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on my album, I need to work on my album and not so much other things. And like I dropped Dime Bag in November. That
Mm-hmm.
album, I knew I just needed. I had a lot on my chest. I just had my firstborn. I just have there's a lot of firsts that I'm having this year and stuff. So I needed like a therapy
Sure.
album, and that's kind of where Dime Bag came in. I started recording it the day before my daughter was born, and then she
Oh wow.
was born, and I took a little break because baby and
Right.
everything. But yeah, I recorded the song Reflection off the album the night before she was born, which if you listen to it and know that, it's kind of crazy because I was just going through a lot during that time. It's I don't want to say stressful, but the nerves were high during all that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I would assume that it would be, and congratulations, by the way, too,
Oh
as
yeah, thank
well.
you. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask too, like when you're making records and things like that, like how do you keep finding things to talk about, keep finding things to rap about? But it sounds like you're experiencing a lot of life while that's happening too, and able to just kind of get that and turn that into music, too at some point, right?
I I was told very early on. I believe my dad might have told me because I remember when I first started diving into music and it, getting attached to it and obsessed with writing, listening to beats. I remember getting stuck a couple times, and he told me he's like, you have to live life to have stuff to rap about. You if you become a studio rat, that's cool. I'm a studio rat, but like you gotta live life because if
Yeah.
you don't live life, what are you rapping about?
Yeah, absolutely. And I am a firm believer in that too, that, artists, if especially, hip hop is like, it's a very weird sense of like, people always want more and more and more. They always want to have the coolest, the newest, the whatever. But if you don't have that gap in between, like that's how music I think ultimately sounds the same, right?
Yeah,
Is when you don't have something new to say. So I appreciate that you're taking that sort of thing, that mentality, but then also still making a ton of music with that too, which is wild.
yeah.
So we are, of course, at the end of 2025. We're moving into 2026. What is? It sounds like there's lots of content, lots of music ready, and things like that. What's kind of the focal point going into next year?
I'm going to change my whole approach going into 2026. I think being consistent is cool, and I think that I've built what I'd say is like a pretty firm catalog at this point. I think I have
Absolutely.
a good amount of music out there, and I think I really need to hone in and channel my focus on a select few songs to really like get my face out there because I think I'm doing it good, but I'm doing so much of so much that it's just kind of I might be oversaturating my own
Mm-hmm.
audience
Market
or however
listening,
what I mean.
yeah.
So I'm still gonna drop a lot of music, but on the promo side or whenever you see my face, it'll probably just be like I'll be pushing a certain few things, and if you follow me, then you'll know about like all the releases and stuff.
For sure. And speaking of that, where is the best place for people to go and find you, follow you at?
I'm super heavy on Facebook at DUBBSAQ, Instagram, and then anywhere you stream music, you can find me at DUBBSAQ, Dubb Saq on all platforms.
Perfect. There we go. And don't forget, if you want even more from the Milwaukee music scene, even more from Dubb Saq, you can keep up with the latest too over at breakingandentering.net, and you can follow us on all of our social media as well. So thank you so much for doing this and sitting down. I appreciate it. I'm glad that we can finally make this happen.
Oh, yeah, I cleared my whole night. I was like, what do you need me for? I'm there.
Love it. Love it. Well, I thank you, and I appreciate that. Very cool.